There is a liquid that costs about $2, not a detailing package, not a ceramic interior coating, not a $40 premium product from an auto parts store. $2 and a single application can make plastic, vinyl, and rubber inside your car look like it just left the factory. Not for a week, not until the next wash, not until the next hot day fades everything again, but in a way that restores the material itself from the inside out. No greasy shine, no artificial gloss, no dust-attracting film, just a clean, matte, factory finish that actually lasts. This formula has existed for nearly a century, and the reason you've never heard of it has nothing to do with whether it works. It works too well. Because if every car owner knew this, an entire category of products would disappear almost overnight. Think about how much is spent every year on interior detailing. Dashboard sprays, plastic restorers, vinyl conditioners, UV protection, coatings. They all promise the same thing: restore, protect, renew, and yet every one of them quietly assumes something, that you will need to use them again and again and again, because they don't actually restore anything. They sit on the surface. They create shine. They create smell. They create the illusion of new. But underneath, the material keeps drying out, so the effect fades, and you buy another bottle. Now compare that to what engineers were dealing with nearly a century ago. Because to understand this liquid, we need to go back to 1937. Automotive interiors were changing rapidly. Leather was expensive, wood was heavy, and manufacturers were experimenting with early plastics, rubber blends, and vinyl compounds. These materials solved cost and weight problems, but they introduced a new issue. They dried out, they became brittle, they cracked under heat, they faded under sunlight. And early on, engineers realized something critical. This wasn't a surface problem, it was a material problem. The polymers themselves were losing moisture and flexibility, so the solution couldn't be a coating. It had to be something that worked inside the material. And what they discovered was almost embarrassingly simple: glycerin, a clear, odorless liquid derived from plant oils, already widely used in medicine, cosmetics, and industrial processes. But inside automotive material testing, it showed something unique. At the molecular level, glycerin is hygroscopic. It attracts and binds moisture from the surrounding air. When applied to rubber, vinyl, or plastic, it doesn't just sit on the surface, it penetrates. And once inside, it restores flexibility by rehydrating the material structure itself. Not masking dryness, reversing it. This is the difference everything else tries to imitate. Modern products simulate restoration. Glycerin performs it. In early workshops, this wasn't a secret. Rubber seals were treated with it. Vinyl dashboards were maintained with diluted solutions. Interior components were preserved using simple mixtures applied by hand. It worked, it lasted, and it cost almost nothing. And then the industry changed. In the 1960s and 70s, the car care market exploded. Chemical companies saw an opportunity, not just to maintain cars, but to build entire product ecosystems around them: interior sprays, foaming cleaners, protectants, conditioners, products that looked better, smelled better, marketed better, and most importantly, had to be reapplied. Glycerin didn't fit that model. It was too cheap, too simple, too effective over time. You cannot build a billion-dollar industry on a solution people use once every few months. So it slowly disappeared from consumer awareness. Not removed, not banned, just replaced. Today, the global car care market is worth over $13 billion. Interior detailing alone represents a huge portion of that. And almost every product you see follows the same pattern: apply, temporary improvement, fade, repeat. Now here's the part that makes this even more interesting. If you look at the safety data sheets of many interior products, you'll often find derivatives of glycerin listed: modified, diluted, blended with silicones and fragrances, same base chemistry, different packaging, significantly higher price. If you've made it this far, you already understand something most drivers never think about. There is a difference between restoring a material and coating it. Because what I'm about to show you is exactly how to do this properly, and it takes minutes. First, get pure glycerin, food grade or pharmaceutical grade. You can find it online in pharmacies or even in some supermarkets. A small bottle costs a few dollars and lasts for multiple applications. Second, dilute it. This step matters. Mix 1 part glycerin with 3 parts distilled water. This reduces viscosity and allows it to penetrate evenly. Undiluted glycerin is too thick and can leave a sticky surface. Third, prepare the surface. Wipe down dust and loose dirt with a dry or slightly damp cloth. No aggressive cleaners needed. Fourth, apply. Use a clean microfiber cloth. Lightly dampen it with the solution. Then wipe the surface evenly. Dashboards, door panels, center consoles. Rubber seals around doors and windows. Apply in thin, controlled layers. Fifth, let it absorb. Wait 5 to 10 minutes, then take a dry cloth and remove any excess. What you'll see is immediate. Faded plastic darkens naturally. Dry surfaces regain depth. Rubber becomes flexible again. Not shiny, not greasy, just factory. And here's what's happening behind that effect. The glycerin is pulling moisture from the air and locking it into the material. Restoring elasticity, reducing microcracks, slowing further degradation. You are not adding something on top. You are restoring what was lost. Now compare that to standard interior products. Most rely on silicone oils. They create a temporary gloss layer. They look impressive for a few days, but they don't address the underlying dryness, which is why dashboards fade again, which is why rubber seals stiffen and crack, which is why interiors age faster than they should, because they are never actually maintained. They are only cosmetically enhanced. A fleet operator in Southern Europe tested glycerin treatments on vehicles exposed to extreme heat. After one summer, treated interiors showed significantly less fading and cracking compared to untreated vehicles. Rubber seals stayed flexible. Plastic retained color. Maintenance intervals dropped. No weekly sprays. No rotation of products. Just a simple treatment applied occasionally. Now this is important. Glycerin is not a miracle repair. It will not fix broken plastic. It will not reverse deep structural damage. But for the vast majority of interiors, that's not the problem. The problem is dehydration. And that is exactly what this solves. Your car's interior wasn't designed to deteriorate this quickly. It was designed to be maintained. But somewhere along the way, maintenance was replaced with marketing, and simple solutions were replaced with repeat purchases. Japanese and European workshop practices never fully abandoned methods like this, but consumer markets did, because simplicity doesn't scale, and it doesn't generate recurring revenue, so it fades out of awareness. Your dashboard didn't fade because it had to. Your seals didn't crack because they were old. They dried out because no one showed you how to maintain them properly, and that difference matters. If this changed how you look at your car's interior, share this with someone who's about to spend money on products that don't actually solve the problem.